you're looking at, $25,000 in incentives to go purchase a home. And if that doesn't say buyer's market, I don't know what is.
Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast. Today I have special guest George Blum on the podcast, so welcome back again.
Thanks for having me, Bobby.
Absolutely. So, George, the market's ever changing and it's always evolving in real estate. Right now, if we look across the land, Austin, Raleigh, Boise, Sarasota, Cape Coral, the list could go on and on.
Inventory.
We're seeing huge levels of increases in inventory. And going along with that right there, what we're also seeing is new home builders have 2 million units, 2 million permits pulled for future home production. Coinciding with, like we just mentioned, increases in inventory and prices being down from a year ago, we have some shifting market dynamics where it looks like the market might be cooling down and due for a possible correction.
Right. Correct, Bobby. Yeah, we're definitely seeing a small shift in the market. And for example, what you were just saying with inventory, with a lot of inventory coming on the market, that does help slow the market down a little bit. Maybe a little correction, 5, 10, maybe 15% price change or price reduction in the homes of their inventory. So a lot of different things going on right now.
Yeah, so we have a market where it looks like there's cooling going on. Obviously, you look at the data, you look at the statistics, that's what it points to. What's this like? What does this time period look like for a buyer and a seller right now?
So there are pros and cons to everything, depending on what kind of buyer and what kind of investor or how you are in the real estate market. It all depends which direction you're going. Am I a first-time home buyer, or am I buying my 8th home and I have 4 rental properties and I'm super excited that there might be a drop in the market because I'm going to jump in there and buy those properties. So there's opportunities for everyone in the market right now, which I think is a great thing. And back to what you were saying with the inventory, I mean, we're also seeing in Jacksonville about a 25.6% cancellation rating on contracts. So just think about 25% of the homes that are under contract right now, 25% of them are going to cancel.
So Redfin reported nationwide 16% cancellations nationwide for the month of June.
Right.
You look at Jacksonville, Florida, 25.6% cancellations, right on par with Orlando and Phoenix.
Right.
Cold feet. Only one city in America has cancellations higher than those 3 cities that I just mentioned, Las Vegas, Nevada. So when you look at the cancellations going on, what are you seeing in the market out there?
I think with the cancellations, there's a strong correlation between interest rates and cancellations. You may be approved for $350,000, no problem, and then you go write the contract up, you're under contract for your $350,000 purchase price, and you start talking to the loan officer about payments, and you're like, whoa.
Right.
I had no idea my payment was going to be $3,000 on a $400,000 house.
Right.
Or something like this. So that's really, when you start getting those, you're like, wow, maybe I should get some, even though I'm approved for this much, maybe I should reevaluate my situation financially and maybe go a different direction on a less expensive property, less expensive home.
Because you could be someone that, there was a time in, let's say, no more than 6 months ago, here in Florida, the only thing you could really purchase when it comes to new home construction was a dirt lot, right? So you purchased a dirt lot 6 months ago, and when you purchased that dirt lot, let's say the home you were purchasing was for $400,000. So you purchased that dirt lot for $400,000. 8 months later, maybe you think that $400,000 purchase is only worth $375,000 and you haven't got to closing yet.
Right.
So you and your significant other might be like, hey,
I think we should back out of this.
Right.
Time to cancel.
Right.
I'm going to lose $5,000 for my earnest money deposit, but it's better than losing that $30,000 with that builder And what we're seeing a little bit of, I have clients under contract right now that purchased in the height of the market building new construction homes. And some of these homes, they're 4,500 square feet, and it's a 12-month build time.
Yeah.
12 months ago, when they built these homes, they were paying full top price for these, no incentives, no closing costs covered. I mean, that's just what the situation
It's a seller's market.
Seller's market. So now, in that same exact neighborhood where my clients are living, they're selling that same exact home for more. However, they're offering $20,000 in closing costs. They're throwing in a free pool,
blinds, refrigerators, washers,
appliances.
dryers.
They're throwing in, and then I got clients calling me, George, I didn't get appliances, I didn't get blinds. Now they're selling a home for all these discounts. We didn't get anything, and that's unfortunately the way the market is. And I've had clients walk away from the table.
Right.
They're like, I'll lose my $5,000 deposit or $10,000 deposit. I'd rather lose the $10,000 than lose $50,000 in equity instantly. So, I mean, we've discussed purchasing a home with new construction and getting instant equity before.
Right.
Getting in the neighborhood at the right time, purchasing it at the right time. And those are all key factors dependent on the current market condition.
We actually had a podcast called, I think, Buying and Flipping New Home Construction.
Correct.
And as someone that was doing that, right now, I wouldn't actually do that. I'd give it 6 to 12 months before I came in to get back to that strategy or that mindset.
Correct. Do a little bit of reevaluating.
Yeah, a little bit of reevaluating. And you look at the signs of a cooling market, right? And you see that the market might be cooling down and corrections might be coming. If you're a seller, this means that you actually might have to be a little bit more patient as a seller right now, right?
Correct. With inventory rising, that means more competition.
Right.
Say you might have been before the only house in the neighborhood selling, or you could have been maybe a few other houses in the neighborhood selling. However, you have the property in the market 3 or 4 days and it's gone.
Right.
Right now, there's a lot of competition. You need to say, you know what, I have had no updates in this home in the past 10 years.
Yeah.
I really should change out the carpet. I should do some painting. Just freshen up a little TLC in the house. But before, you didn't have to do that. So when I've talked to clients 6, 7, 8 months ago, or even 4 months ago, hey, let me know if you're interested in selling, putting your house to market, if you're relocating. And then when they finally kind of came around, I've had clients call me within the last 30 days saying, hey, George, we'd like to get the house on the market in the next couple weeks. How's everything looking? It might take a little bit longer to sell your home right now, just depending on the market right now.
Now, in a market where the seller has to be more patient, the bidding wars they're kind of over.
They're slowing down.
The bidding wars are slowing
Unless
down.
you have a prime house, prime neighborhood, the price of the home is like perfect, right at that like where it should be for listing a property, not over the top. You're not casting out there right now to try to get a bunch top dollar right now. You need to really price the house right to make sure it sells for your customers. Even
here in this house, closed, going under contract very soon. Within the next 7 days, will be fully sold. It took us about 15 days. The market was cool. Now again, we were going for top dollar, so we kind of understood that was going to happen, but we need to be a little bit more patient here. And let's say you're a buyer right now. Is this the time to buy? Do you want to be patient? Do you have to know what it is that you're actually out there looking for? Right.
Well, as we know, everybody's situation is completely different.
Right.
Depending on what works best for that individual, that's the direction kind of they got to go, and you got to kind of gear yourself for. So, is it a right time to buy? Is it not a right time to buy? You really need to look at all the variables that come into play on how that's going to work with interest rate, location. What do you exactly need? What do you want in a home? All those things kind of come into play. And what's a good thing right now is, because it's not so much of a seller's market, it's still cool. It's cooling off a little bit. It's kind of like in the middle, a little balance right now, sellers and buyers right now. However, I've already seen a lot of builders up their incentives they're giving to buyers right now, which means price reductions, all closing costs covered, credit for prepaids. I have some builders right now giving a $10,000 incentive for a rate buy down on top of all their closing costs and prepaids. I mean, if you add that together, you're looking at $25,000 in incentives to go purchase a home. And if that doesn't say buyer's market, I don't know what is.
So I think what you're hinting at is we're getting back to the times where it was more fun to be a buyer. I know when I came in here into other properties and I was asking for stuff like the refrigerator, the washer dryer, closing costs, the blinds in the home. That made it more intriguing for me. So although I say like I don't think I'm looking to do the buying and flipping like I had been. At the same time, if the builders continue coming with these cost reductions and these different opportunities of them putting certain things in, all of a sudden I start watching again. It starts getting me more attracted to what they could be offering.
I mean, the builder here in Jacksonville, they're nationwide as well, Lennar, they were offering realtors 1%. They were only accepting bids on the property, and you would know within a week or two if you won that bid after they had all these offers coming in. I mean, they were really, going with bidding wars on their house. With other builders, they're saying, hey, we want to pay our realtors that bring us the deals. They also want to make sure they're still giving a little bit of incentives for the clients, for the buyers. Right now, we're starting to see a big shift in a lot more incentives, even though rates are still high. I mean, these builders are counteracting that by saying, we understand rates are high. A lot of home built buyers kind of fell off because they can't afford homes with these interest rates right now. So you know what? Let's bring some of them buyers back and throw in, hey, we'll give you an extra $5,000-$10,000 for a rate buy down. So instead of a 5.25 or a 5.75, we're going to get you down to a 4.75. I mean, that's a lot of money when you talk about monthly payments and things like this. If you can only afford $250,000 and they're giving you a rate buy down, that might be the direction you have to go.
Foreclosures, decreases in showings. What do you see with those there?
So foreclosure, we're starting to see a few more of those come back in the market. People can't afford, especially post-COVID, people losing jobs, things like that. In terms of showings, we're definitely seeing fewer showings. I've been to properties when they had showings, anybody could go show the property anytime. They were just letting anybody go. 25 people at one property, cars lined up, parked down the street trying to go to one property.
Right.
I mean, I'm showing my buyers, they're like, George, what's going on? I was like, this is the market right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you better be submitting over and above asking price, offering credits to pay sellers' closing costs.
Yeah.
Now, that's really flipped right now. So it's kind of a good thing to be a buyer right now in the market. Besides high interest rates, we understand that. But to be able to get all these incentives, someone's offering me $30,000 in incentives.
Yeah.
Maybe the market does shift 5% and the house goes down 5%. I'm still up $30,000.
Which is, I think what you're talking about right now is why individuals looking to sell do need and should look for an experienced real estate agent. For me personally, I knew it was time to sell, getting the signs of the market. I'm like, hey, it's time to get this house sold. Going through you, I was very comfortable that I wouldn't be in a situation where you're like, Bobby, maybe we want to offer these things or give these things up. Going to you, I was very comfortable with you taking care of the market and making sure that I was in the winning position.
Right, exactly. And I really think it's important for sellers right now to understand that there is a shift in the market, and it's very important for us realtors to be knowledgeable of what's going on, to have that experience so we can explain to the sellers right now and buyers, but mostly the sellers, in terms of, hey, we might need to do a few extra things around this house to make sure we get what you're looking for the house. We might need to maybe, let's do some paint touch-ups in here. Let's paint this room that you have painted. New carpets. You know what? Your backsplash has missing tiles. It might be a good idea to maybe put a new backsplash in there. So in terms of
scrub down the garage real good.
Scrub down the garage. Make sure everything's painted, pressure washed right now. When there's 7-10 other homes in your neighborhood that are for sale right now, I mean, maybe someone likes that one because they put 2 new vanities in their bathrooms.
Yeah.
Or things like that. I mean, Home Depot, Lowe's, not throwing out promotions or anything, but you can usually find really good deals there with a vanity. I mean, $500 you can get a inexpensive double vanity that you can easily have someone install for a few $100s. And that makes a big difference seeing the old laminate countertops and things like that. And there's also a lot of new construction still going on. So the competition with selling your house as a secondary home versus going to a new construction home, are you offering $15,000 in closing cost incentives? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? I mean, are you throwing in free brand new refrigerator, washer? It's going to be a competitive market for sellers right now, and they have to understand that.
Lumber prices. What are they looking like? Any big impact to the market?
Yeah, so lumber prices have been up the last couple of years. They've really been at the highest they've ever been. In terms of right now, which is a good thing, I've actually seen them start to come down. And I've actually found out firsthand, I'm building a project up north right now.
Yeah.
And I actually ordered a bunch of lumber and things like that. And I'm following up with my supplier. We're talking and I'm going over everything. And he actually gives me a call and said, hey, we're actually getting ready to place the order. And lumber prices have not just went down last time, but they went down again. So I just saved about $800 just on all the lumber that I was ordering. And I'm a little guy. I ordered, like I think it was like $12,000 lumber package.
Right.
These builders ordering trusses for whole neighborhoods and sets and everything like that. I mean, they're spending millions of dollars. Imagine the discounts they're about to get, and they're loving these price reductions.
Florida insurance. So recently listened to a podcast talking about Florida insurance, prices going up, scams. You're more of an expert in this market than me. What's going on with Florida insurance right now?
Since I purchased my home at the end of 2019 when the construction was complete, I was about $675 a year.
Right.
For my homeowner's insurance. Right now, I'm already doubled that, and I think I'm around $1,700 plus for a homeowner's insurance right now. And I don't have any special insurance like flood insurance. I'm not in a flood zone.
Right.
And I mean, for $1,700 for insurance, I mean, for me, from what I've seen in the past since 2018, 2019, I mean, that's expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, I just had a client, I usually tell clients, like, listen, get your different quotes, compare your insurance policies, talk to everybody, make sure you're getting a good insurance policy. And I used to say, hey, check, even if you're not in a flood zone, check what that flood insurance is going to cost you.
Yeah.
If it's $100 a year, why not pay $100 per year to have flood insurance, even though you're not in a flood zone, you still have a little bit of extra protection. Mm-hmm. Right now, I just had a client check for flood insurance, not in a flood zone, and they were charging them $750 per year. And I was like, whoa, not even in a flood zone and you're at $750 a year? I mean, I remember when I had clients get it for $100 a year for flood insurance.
So I think for our next podcast, we should circle back on some advice for Florida insurance and provide a little bit of value to that because it's interesting. Those are quick shifts in prices that are actually out there.
Definitely compare policies. I think I always tell people, don't go with your first and second insurance quote.
It's like auto insurance, right?
Check 5-6 different companies. Check all the big ones out there, and then maybe search local homeowners and check those policies. Make sure they're a reputable company, but definitely make sure you're protected when it comes to homeowners insurance.
Real estate, it's an opportunities game. Knowing the market, understanding the market. We just went and looked at a property recently. Nice location, north side of Jacksonville, right on a preserve. This was just a few hours ago. Really disappointed the person you're representing didn't take your advice. Gave some clear advice. Paint this place down. Let's redo the floors. Let's scrub through the garage. And let's just touch up the exterior. Had that client done that, I mean, hey, I'm always open to good Airbnb investment opportunities. And there's no HOA. I could come in there if that place is looking good and set up an Airbnb shop right away.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Huge 3/4 acre lot.
Probably 90-95% occupancy. Maybe put a container home in the backyard and do 2 Airbnbs at once. But he didn't take your advice. I went in there and I'm like, not for me. This is not me. Glad you took me here. Beautiful spot. A lot of potential, but this isn't for me right now. It's important that people listen to advice. I mean, why do you think that person didn't listen to you?
I just thought that he was so accustomed to hearing the way the market's been going. Seller's market, multiple offers, put your home on the market, don't have to do one single thing. You get 15 different offers. And that's what he was used to hearing. When I went over there and told him I think that home has been on the market about 30 days now.
Okay.
So in terms of that, that's a long time right now.
Yeah.
When you usually have a home on the market for 1 day, 3 days getting multiple offers, that's a big difference between 30 days and not a lot of showings. Mm-hmm. So in terms of that, my recommendation always, you don't want to have 5 different colors of paint throughout your house. I mean, try to do one neutral color, like a crushed ice. Benjamin Moore is a nice simple color. That's actually what you have in this house right here. Mm-hmm. It's just a nice neutral tone, easy color.
Right.
So that was my suggestion one. You know, we had some broken tiles, things like this. I suggested, hey, you know, it's $500. You know, when people walk in a home, they're noticing right away, like, this is for me or this isn't for me. You know within the first 30 seconds if you're in love with the house or not. You know, I really wanted to keep that consistency throughout the home, have everything painted one color. They really didn't want to kind of spend all the time and money on doing that, which wasn't too much. However, I think right now in the market, how it's competitive for sellers with the inventory coming up, we really got to look what you're doing and be careful who you choose and really take the professional's advice. You know, the realtor doesn't get paid until they sell the property. It's commission based. They're going to do everything they can, or they should be doing everything they can to make sure they're getting as much money as possible for that seller and really explaining the importance of going over certain things in the home. Hey, let's replace the carpet on the stairs. Let's touch up all the baseboard. You know, I know you love your green kitchen, but I really think we should paint this a neutral color. You know, we want to make this appealing to everyone else, not just, you know, love your style, it's great. You know, let them know that we got to make this appealing for everyone else that might walk in the door.
Right. I mean, we came in here, put a few $1,000s into carpet, painting, deep cleaning, and a few other things like repainting the door and doing a couple other things. Because of that, we achieved top dollar in here, $460,000 versus bigger townhomes that have only sold for a maximum of $450,000.
Correct.
So us just creating a little ambiance of a few $1,000s of touch-ups, stage some furniture, not bought. This is just furniture from your house.
Correct.
At this point here, we got the bang for our buck. Where I look at the house we just looked at, I'm like, man, if that guy would just put in a few $1,000s
right
in painting, that home would probably be gone.
Right. You know, and I suggest that there's carpet in one of the bathrooms of the home. So I was thinking, you know, it's pretty easy to throw down some tile. I mean, you can get pretty decent tile for $1 a square foot.
Right.
$3 to install. That's $4 a square foot. You know, on a little 10 by 10 bathroom, that's not much at all. And a little bit of tile and a new vanity goes a long way.
Right.
And, you know, I suggested if you know, $5,000, maybe get this house ready. I think that $5,000 could have easily turned into $15,000 in increase in profit for him.
And when you're motivated and you're excited about stuff like this, you network out and meet people. I mean, you'll come across real good guys that want to come out and work hard. You'll meet people like Roland and others out there that will gladly come in and lay out carpet or paint for you, and they won't even charge a premium. They'll do it for the right price.
Right.
It's not actually going to be all that difficult, and now you've got a network of connections of people that you can actually work through.
Really easy, quick fixes go a long way. I mean, a fresh coat of paint in a house just makes it like, wow, this looks
smells good too.
Smells good, takes the smells out if there were any smells or animals. Really goes a long way. I mean, blue, green, yellow walls, things like this. I mean, one neutral color, get it nice and consistent, and really can go a long way.
Last but not least, George, talk about the book, man. Give me a 30-second, 45-second. I know you got a book coming out. You got a co-author. You're writing with men. Tell me a little bit about the book that you got going on here.
So, little co-author with the book right now. We're working on doing something small, like 15 chapters, something like this, maybe 20, nothing crazy. Really gonna tell different experiences and steps in the real estate process. We're gonna be talking about scenarios with purchasing a home, going over new construction purchases, listing homes, just kind of give maybe a first-time home buyer or even an experienced buyer a chance, something to pick up, just read, and gain something from that book. I really want to put something out that's valuable, that's knowledgeable, that really gives some insight into the real estate market and different real estate trends that are going on.
So like winning in real estate, sales in real estate, seeing success in real estate.
Yeah, you could read this if you're a first-time home buyer. You could buy it and read it as an investor, or a real estate agent could pick this up and read it.
All right, George. Well, hey, man, always a pleasure having you and your value on the podcast. Changing market dynamics. It's a market that moves fast, so always valuable information. Even all the podcasts in the past, you go back and listen to them. Valuable information. So, thank you. Thanks, Bob. Good having you on.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Hey, guys, thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. Let us know if there's anything specifically that you would like us to talk about going forward.